Hey everyone, Sleepy Reader here, continuing the daily videos, and today I kind of am low on time, so I have a special guest to help me do a video. Her name is Quacking Duck, often called QD in messages and on Twitter. So some of you have known her for 5 years. So let's see. Tonight we're going to talk about villains from Marvel and DC. Some we love, some we hate, some gross us out, some make us laugh. So shall we start with who are some of our favorites from DC?
Yeah. How
or
about
from Marvel? From Marvel.
Because it's the first on the list, favorite Marvel.
So do you want to say who your favorite one from Marvel is? Mine is, I suppose, overly predictable Doctor Doom. I used to, when you were little, I tried to play Doctor Doom with you.
Yeah, but
and she was the daughter of Doctor Doom. Doom.
I didn't want to be Doom.
She did not want to be a bad guy.
I still don't want to be Doom.
Still doesn't want to be Doom.
I might want to be a bad guy.
I wonder if Doom ever had a daughter in some comic book that I just don't remember. So, so your favorite is not Doctor Doom. Your favorite is
Batroc the Leaper.
Batroc the Leaper.
Batroc the Leaper.
Where have you just seen pictures of Batroc, or was he in Squirrel Girl at one point?
We read a little bit of a story about it.
A little bit of a story. So is it?
In Captain America.
Oh, we read maybe an old Captain America. And
I just think he's hilarious.
Yes, he's hilarious. There actually is a really silly Marvel villain who also is a Captain America villain, but I can't remember what his name is anymore, but he kind of rolls up into a ball and bounces around. I remember that from the Bronze Age. And I remember thinking he was even sillier than Batroc.
You can tell us in the comments.
Right. And Batroc made it to another list of Marvel's silliest superheroes. Do you agree he's one of his silliest, or is that just me saying that?
What'd you say?
Do you agree that Batroc is one of Marvel's silliest heroes? Villains. Okay, and we couldn't really settle on each of us on one DC favorite villain. I had Lex Luthor and Darkseid up near the top of my list, and you added two more.
And Poison Ivy.
And those are kind of sometimes villains and sometimes heroes.
Poison Ivy is more often a villain.
Poison Ivy's closer to being a villain, but Catwoman also, she's a burglar. She's a cat burglar. That's her.
I think Poison Ivy is more often a villain than good. And
do you like Lex Luthor as a villain?
I do.
He's kind of a good villain for Supergirl too.
Yeah.
And what about Lena Luthor?
I like Lena Luthor.
Now, in a lot of the Silver Age stories, Lena Luthor is actually a good guy, but I guess later she's become a bad guy.
But I think when she finds out she's Lex Luthor's sister.
Right, and she's a bad guy in the DC Superhero Girls right now.
Yeah. And
Lex Luthor never shows up, I don't think. And so, silliest hero... Well, we've already mentioned that Batroc is on our list of silliest.
But
our favorite... The Marvel villain that we love to make fun of. Sandman.
I don't mean like any of the countless DC Sandmans. I mean,
it is funny that there's so many DC Sandmans. But the Marvel Sandman
made of sand.
Made of sand. He's so dangerous because he's made of sand.
Yeah, I know. Sand is so dangerous.
Seeing him is like going to the beach.
It's like having a man made of pebbles, but even less dangerous.
And another favorite silly villain of mine is MODOK.
And of course, Batroc's on the list.
And Batroc's on the list.
I think MODOK is ridiculous.
Right. He looks so silly. But kind of coolly silly. And then, for me, I don't know if other people find him silly, but just because of his name and then that he has yellow skin and a ridiculous mustache.
I think his mustache is so ridiculous.
Sinestro. Hi, I'm a villain. My name's Sinestro. I'm very
like sinister.
And I have yellow skin, and I use yellow light because I like
And
fear.
I have, like, this curly mustache.
Right. He's such a cliche of a villain.
And
then your favorite
Egghead from the Batman
in 66.
TV series.
Hey, there's a hand on my head. That felt strange.
Sorry.
She likes to rub her hands through my beautiful locks of hair, I guess.
Dad.
So, Egghead from Batman 66, which I don't know if they ever tried to incorporate him in the regular comics, but we've read about him in Batman 66.
And anyway, they do have Batman 66 comics, and he's in there
It counts,
sometimes,
definitely. And then we had another category. We never actually thought of who would fit in it for Marvel, but grossest villain.
I think Mole Man's kind of gross.
Oh, Mole Man's kind of gross. So Mole Man fits in a couple categories for you.
Yeah.
But
because you'll see later.
But do you want to say your DC grossest villain? Clayface. Particularly the modern Clayface, right?
Yeah.
He's a gross.
Because he's like a giant guy made of clay.
And
he used to be just a guy who could like shapeshift. And now he's like this giant clay monster.
And don't in the DC superhero girls, don't they have like Mrs. Clayface or something?
I don't like her that much.
And there's a scene where they meet her at a mud bath. So
she comes out of the mud bath and it's so gross.
So someone kind of takes a mud bath in Mrs. Clayface, I think.
Yeah.
I forget who that was. Was
Hawk
that Wonder
Girl,
Woman? Hawk Girl. Hawk Girl takes a mud bath in Mrs. Clayface. Yum.
Yuck.
So that is actually much grosser than who I would have thought of, which is Bane. He seems pretty gross to me.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it just like so gross how his muscles suddenly bulge?
Yeah, and all the veins and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Especially the way they draw it.
Right.
Sorry.
Let's see. And then our final category then is least favorite villain from Marvel and from DC. And you already mentioned your least favorite DC. I mean, your least favorite Marvel, but you want to mention him again?
Mole Man.
Mole Man. Ironically, the first Marvel villain was perhaps one of their least good Marvel villains.
Yeah, no.
I would add Venom to that list.
I hate Venom.
Although he is kind of in a way, he's a cool villain, but I got sick of him. I think I got really sick of him.
Anyway,
and he does get kind of gross.
He is one of the more creepy villains.
Right.
I think he's overused and a little more creepy than he should be.
Right.
Or it.
What do you think of Unshaven Craven? That's an in-joke for those of you who've read Squirrel Girl.
I think Craven the Hunter is kind of in the silly category.
Right. I guess it's his Twitter handle is Unshaven Craven.
Yeah.
And under least favorites for DC, we had
Let's take turns doing.
Okay, so do you want to say one of your least favorites? Metallo. I think that's one that's not one of your least favorites. I really don't like Metallo. Something about him just really bothers me, and the whole Heart of Kryptonite thing.
Yeah,
that just
I don't
seems
get it.
kind of silly, also. I guess, and
kind
of gross.
Like Metallo, but I think it's just ridiculous how he has a Heart of Kryptonite.
Okay. Well, do you want to list another villain of Superman that you particularly dislike? Parasite. So what do you hate about Parasite most? His superpower, or he's creepy? Or the way he looks?
I just think he's creepy, especially in the more modern comics.
Right. We've seen some versions where they make him really creepy. He looks
really creepy, and I think the name doesn't help.
The name doesn't help? Okay.
With the being creepy part.
And then probably someone I like even less than Metallo is Doomsday.
I don't like
Doomsday. And they way
either.
overuse him.
I don't like
He was
Doomsday
good
either.
once, and that's pretty much all I want to see of him.
Yeah.
And then...
And remember that comic where they just fought Doomsday over and over and over again?
I can think of several like that. But yeah, in Action Comics... Where they fought him for like 6 issues or something.
I know. They just kept fighting Doomsday over and over and over again.
Yeah. Okay, and then you have another one on the list.
Clayface.
So the grossest is also one of your least favorites.
Yeah.
Gross and least favorite kind of go together, I suppose.
Well, especially with me.
Yeah.
I'm not a super fan.
We didn't
of
really
gross
come up
out.
with any gross ones for. I mean, Venom is a little gross. I
Yeah,
guess.
Venom and Woman,
Right.
which are our least favorites too, are probably the grossest Marvel villains.
Yeah. The grossest comics I've read have been Deadpool from Marvel,
Yeah,
but he's not a villain,
he's
or
not a
maybe he's.
villain,
I don't know if he's a villain.
But Deadpool's still like, if he counts as a villain, then
Right.
he is the grossest.
Yeah, I just thought I don't like Sabretooth, who is kind of the major Wolverine villain.
I don't know.
like him too
I
much.
don't really read Wolverine,
Right.
Because it's not really
Pretty violent.
Yeah.
Pretty violent. And Sabretooth's a really nasty, violent character.
And I think I would hate him.
Right. So I wonder what...
If you can think of your favorite and least favorite Marvel villains and DC villains, then you can let us know in the comments.
There you go. What a pro.